Hello everyone, my name is Kate. I'm 21 years old. I live in Kharkov. Today I'm gonna tell you a story. Actually, that's not the happiest one. Um, you know, um, one time we thought that uh, we're not happy enough, we're too busy to do some things. We do not appreciate them. But everything has changed on 21st of February when the war began. Today I'm gonna tell you the things and the actions um, which changed my life and life of all Ukrainians. I live in the southwestern part of Kharkiv. It's the south of Kharkiv. Maybe you heard this name in the news, in the newspapers. So, um, well, I'll try my best to speak about this more. Um, you know, we thought that maybe um, we just read about these actions in the history books. Our grandparents told us about these terrible times, but these terrible times came in, in our country. Uh, things uh, things changed a lot. Uh, you know, mm, a week before, I just simply was walking around the streets of my lovely town. I was enjoying life, so I went from the university, just talking with my friend, like how I'm how I was tired from the courses, from the just going to university. And well, on 24th of February, everything is changed. Um, I just simply slept in my house. Actually, we live in a block of flats. Um, on 5 a.m., mm, we woke up because of the terrible noise from the outside. I didn't realize and I didn't understand actually from the time what was that. Actually, I suppose that before I heard some noise, like maybe this is a tire that has blown up. I didn't really know because that happened actually before. But that was not I supposed. That was not the thing I supposed because this noise mentioned and that the war began. I went to the room when my mother slept. I tried to figure out what was going on. We were just standing with my mother and looking at each other. We didn't think about this. And when the second and the third noise they were really loud. And then we realized, we thought that the war began. You know, uh, I don't want to mention all the things, all our thoughts that were during all the days, because that was a mess. And up to uh, up to today, there is a mess in our head. You know, the next days we were like in the condition like we won't um, holding up for I don't know, for a finish, that we would like to this actions would finish soon, but that did not happen. Uh, you know, uh, that was like a shock for normal people who lived before their normal life. They just had their plans, they had their fortunes. They hoped for better things. They hoped that they can build their life, they will build their personal life, but something's changed, actually. And that was during these days, there was lots of loud noises. That was shelling, that was bombs. But mm, the most terrible thing that happened to us, that was on 26th of February, when almost near 2 p.m. The light is gone in our house. Somebody turned it off. Maybe it's because of the shelling. We didn't know about that for that time. And from that time we didn't have any water supply, any light supply, until the late evening, when the tanks and the bombs were near our house. Actually, for now, I'm just trying to like to remember that moments, but it's like something is touching my heart. It's really hard, it's really, really hard to remember that moments. That was fear in our eyes. We remember that terrible moment when we heard that was like a shaking, that was a shaking of our house. Our flat was like a trembling, that was trembling in our hands. We were like holding with each other, with my mom, with hands, and we were like we were reading aloud the praying to God. We prayed like to save our lives. That was the most terrible night in my life. Actually, the night for my mother and my family. That's even now I realize that was like that was a fear. That was a fear we hoped for the best, even in that times. But we survived, and actually for that time it seemed like the nearest house was under the shelling. And that became true, because in the morning, when the morning came, we tried to figure out what happened that night. We didn't sleep, of course. We didn't sleep, and our family, my brother, offered us to evacuate from this area, because that was too dangerous to stay more. And there was not water supply, light, gas, and any things like to seem that we would survive in that condition. That was too hard. That it's the terrible things when you just packing in the mess, when you have a mess in your head and you have to pack your things, pack your clothes, pack the things that you consider like the most necessary for you. I was crying in that moment because I this war made me up, made me to leave my house, to leave the place where I live for all my life. And actually, in the early morning, maybe in the 7 or 6 o'clock, my brother came, and we were evacuated from this area. We evacuated to another district of Kharkov, which considered to be more calm, maybe, I don't know, but still, for now, we evacuated on 27th of February, and then we just tried to live. We tried to just not to think about this terrible night, because I do not have enough words to describe this feeling, because it's really terrible. It's difficult to realize. Well, then from the end of the February, we live in another district of Kharkiv, up to now, because now you see, and that's too hard to estimate, to think about all the things that are happening for now. Actually, we thought that this district would be more calm, but that was the beginning of March. That was the beginning of March, and then I remember one moment I forgot about. The first day of the war, when we were in our district, when I sharply went out on the street to put some water in the how could we say it, because I know in the American culture maybe there is not this like the word for that thing, but I tried to pick up some water for having a water supply. I just went out to the street, and in the sky I saw the rockets. That was like the one, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and I was standing, and I just watching, and that's really hard even now to remember that things. Well, and all the things are terrible for our times. And back to our topic, when we came to another district. So my brother went, and we moved away, just because it was too dangerous to stay more. So when we went to this district, I remember one night, and that was precisely maybe for 1 week and a half, when the planes were bombing. They were bombing the district. That was really loud noise. And we heard that. We just simply sharply jumping. We were jumping from our bed, and sitting in the hall, just covering our head with the hands, and we're praying for God, to save our life, when let this bomb will move away, and you know and that continued for, as I said, that continued for 1 week and a half, and then the shelling finished, we suppose, and then for now, just up to today, we hear every day, precisely, we hear some noise, that was really, really uh, um, that is not so near to our house, but it's away from 100 kilometers, but still. So something like that. I'd like to add that this war changed our life. So actually, this is what I wanted to tell you. Actually, that was my idea to uh, like to make some people tell about their story, because Kharkov is it's a beautiful city. It's a really beautiful one. It's not because I was born there. It's not because it's my native town. I like the city because of its parks, because of its people. You know, uh, Ukrainian people are the best. Ukrainian people are strong. Maybe before that seems that we fear something. We have a fear. We're not strong enough. But this war proved another thing. I'd like to say thanks to my best friend Lina, because she understands me. She supports me in any times. And I'd like you to watch this video and to support all Ukrainians. And Ukraine will win. And I know that these times will move away from our territory, from our country, and you'll see soon. I hope that that will be the most prosperous time for Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Marina. I'm from Kharkov, and I was living with my boyfriend on vacation, and was really, really looking forward to when I return home. I just counted the days until I met my parents, met my friends, whom I didn't see for 2 months. And it would seem a little more and I'll be at home. But that didn't happen. I woke up not from explosions, but from my man woke up me and say the war began. I felt like I didn't feel anything. I felt like I was in a vacuum, because it can't be true. 21st century, what war? Every day I was with my parents, with my friends, on the phone, on the messages, and I blamed myself for not being there. And that I'm safe, but they're not. I didn't know how could I help, and I really felt absolutely terrible about it. We donated to help for our army, and you can do it too also. I think if you want to help our country, so you can donate. This is the best thing you can do for our country. None of my friends wanted to leave Kharkiv, and my parents also too. If my friend's apartment hasn't been bombed and she didn't get out of the fire, she wouldn't have left. I tried to persuade my parents to leave. They were against. And on the day when I wanted them to leave on the train, Russia started bombing the train, the one for which we bought them tickets for my parents. I got hysterical about for 2 or 3 days. Yeah. Thanks God, my parents didn't agree to leave Kharkiv then. So the war goes on. Awful when you get used to it. I know that we will win, and I believe in our army, I believe in Ukrainian people, I believe in our president, and of course, I know that soon I will meet my parents and I will meet all of my friends who stay in Ukraine now. It's all I dream about now. So, be it. Слава Україні!
Hi Lina, my name is Vladimir. You asked about my experience being in Europe when the war in Ukraine started. So now I can share some experience we faced with my wife, with you. I think in the beginning I should tell about the first days of the war. How it was. It was terrible, really, because when we were going to Poland, we were going to a vacation. We didn't expect the war to start, and we were trying to calm everybody around, because people were asking us do you think there will be a war, and what do you think about it? And we told everybody that come on, everything is okay. I think there will be no any war. So we were trying to calm everybody. But as you see, now we were wrong, and the war started. It started very unexpectedly. We needed to help our parents, our friends who are in Ukraine, and so on. So first 2 or 3 weeks we were dealing only with these things. We were in terrible situation too, because you can imagine you are going to a vacation, you have only 1 or 2 small suitcases and nothing else. We didn't expect to migrate somewhere, so we didn't have a lot of things with us. We were going to a dance event, so we had only dance clothes, and that's all. When the war started, we really didn't think about it, but later we faced some problems connected with it. So the first days when the war started on 24th of February, we received a lot of phone calls early in the morning, and we didn't understand what happened. We just received a lot of calls, and we couldn't understand what's happening, and it took us about several hours to believe in that what happening. So the first issue was to move our close family, so our parents, in some safe place. It took us about 4 days to move them from the Saltovka district in Kharkov to the center of the city, because Saltovka was bombed from the first day of the war, and we needed to bring our parents to some safety, more safe place. And we managed to do it. It took us 4 days, and because they couldn't leave the shelter while bombs are falling, while there are military some operations in the district. But finally we managed to do it, and we faced the next step, the next issue. We needed to fill our car with fuel, because we left it without fuel, because we didn't expect the war to be started, and we didn't expect that our parents will need to drive their car through all the country. And it took us 4 days to find fuel, to fill our car with it, and after it we needed to to explain our parents that it's not safe way to be in Kharkov now. They need to leave, because they didn't want it to. They told us that it's okay in the center of the city, it's fine, it's a safe place, you have a nice shelter in your house, but we managed to make them believe that they need to go to Poland, and they started their way. It was a terrible time too, because me and my wife, we were sitting all the day long and planning the road, renting some apartments from here, from Poland. In Ukraine we were trying to find people who can help on the way. We were trying to find some few gas stations that are still working, because on the whole road there was a very big problem with fuel, because it couldn't be brought in Kharkov, in some closest places, so they needed to keep their car full with fuel, because if they didn't manage to fill it, they can just have an empty car on the road, and nobody can help in this situation. So it took us 7 days of planning our parents' road. They also took our granny with them, and finally we met them here in Poland. Through all this way we also have some issues, but they were not so important than bringing our parents here to the safe place. After we did it, we faced a lot of problems too. As for me and my wife, we were in European Union before the war. We crossed the border before the 24th of February, so we cannot pretend on any help. Only people who cross the border after 24th of February can have some help from the government and so on. We can't with our wife. We needed to make everything by ourselves. But we can stay here. That's a good option. We faced a lot of issues with people, with our friends who are still in Ukraine, because a lot of our friends even make some hate things to us, because we are somewhere abroad, in safe place, and they need to stay in the western part of Ukraine, they started to message us such things like, you have to be back in Ukraine and you have to rent apartment in Lviv for maybe $2,000 per month, but you have to be here. I don't know why they told such things, but really we stopped communicating with a lot of our friends because they just had some hate to our family. Another issue was to help somehow to people who are in Ukraine. I understand that life gave me such an opportunity to be in safe place when the war is running, so I can help. I can find a job for some people I know. I can help with some stuff they need to order from Europe. I can help the volunteers. I can help to people who are coming here in Poland and don't know where to go, where to receive some help, where to find apartment to live, and so on. So we had a lot of issues that connected to help to other people. And I have found a job for about 12 or 13 people in Ukraine. They have some clients, they have projects. I have helped a lot of people who came here through their way to some other countries or who are here in Poland. So we try to help somehow. We send some money to volunteers to help people who are still staying in Kharkov, who are still staying in eastern part of Ukraine. They have terrible issues, and a lot of people think that we are okay, everything is fine, we don't nervous here, but not. We have a lot of nervous situations, and the main thing that we can't help, we can't be there, we can't take someone with their hand and bring them to some safe place. We can only do everything remotely, and these issues are also not so good in psychological way, because we faced a lot of symptoms of psychological traumas. But I think it's much better than people who came from there, because we saw our parents. It took them 2 weeks to bring their mind to normal, stable way. So I think we are lucky, we're really lucky family that we have been here when the war started. But at the same time, it's not so easy too, because we are facing a lot of issues, nobody cares about that. If we have money, if we have apartment to live. One Polish family helped us a lot, and we are very thankful for it, because they gave us some time to stay in their apartments, and they helped us really a lot. They gave us some food, they helped us to find everything in Poland, to organize our life. So that's really a very big help, and I don't know how can we give them back something. It's just impossible. They really gave us a lot of time to organize our parents moving to the safe place here in Poland. They helped us. Yeah, that's I can't say more or less. They helped us a lot. Another thing is our psychological feelings, because I understand that we had a stress not so big as people in Ukraine had, but we faced some problems, and I understand that now we have to make some psychological recovery too. And we are still helping our people in Ukraine. We are still finding job for them. We are trying to make something we can do from here, from Europe. We are informing people here on the things what really happening in Ukraine, because when the war is far, it's impossible to understand it. I saw photos, like pictures of the war, videos that my parents made, so I understand it closely. But here in Europe, some people say, "Oh, that's fake news," and so on. Still saying it, and we are trying to make them believe in that what really happening. So we are trying to do our best to help people in Ukraine, and to inform people from Europe what is really happening. I think this is our main mission for now. Also, I'm trying to communicate with people from Western Europe, and they have less information, and people from US, from Canada, they have even more or less information than people in Europe here, but we are trying to inform them any way we can. I think that this experience, this is for the whole life, and now we will review a lot of things in our life, and we want to come back to Ukraine. We want to help to rebuild everything there. We see a lot of damage for our native city. We understand that now it's maybe impossible to renovate everything there, but I hope that the war will stop in some nearest time, and it will be possible to go back to Ukraine to help with the renovation of everything there, to help people to make maybe some projects that can give some psychological help, that can give money for people who need it, because now everything is chaotical, helping each other is chaotical. You can't there is no stable way how to help people. Like, you receive some messages about that somebody needs help, and you're trying to do your best to help this person, but as for me, I see my mission in making some project where you can read story about that, what happened with exact person, and to help to give this person help. Maybe it can be job, maybe it can be some medicines, maybe it can be money, so it all depends, but I think that millions of people faced some cruel and terrible stories, and I think the world have to read it, have to understand that such unbelievable things can happen, because I think after the Second World War there won't be any big wars in Europe, but we are facing it now, and it means that humanity didn't receive their lesson. They maybe didn't understand a lot from the Second World War, and they got new war that is terrible. So I think it can be a very good lesson, but which life gave us in a very terrible way. And I hope that the war will stop soon, and we will be able to go to Ukraine and to help to renovate it, because here in Europe we feel like we are not at home. Our home is Kharkov, our home is far, and our home is suffering a lot now. So the only thing we can do here in Europe to help as we can, to pray for Ukraine, to believe that everything will end soon. I think that's all I can say. Maybe my speech was very bad structured, but it was I spoke it from my real experience, and I spoke about things that really matters for me. I hope that this video can help somebody to understand what's happening, to understand what do we feel here, people who are not in Ukraine now, but who loves Ukraine and who are natively from Ukraine. Hope that everything will be okay soon, and maybe we will make such video with Lina, with her story about her experience, because she faced much more problems, because she is in the center of the war in Kharkov, and she saw a lot of things that we just can't imagine. Wish you good luck with this storytelling from people who are in Europe now, and I hope we'll see. I hope to see you soon when the war ends.